$500 camera system versus a $3,500 camera system. That's a pretty big price difference. So the obvious question is, what are you actually paying for? Over the next 9 minutes, we'll be going over installation, build quality, image quality, low light performance, storage, privacy, and long-term support. Now let's hear from two experts who will start by breaking down that cost.
What is the cost of the Night Owl versus the Turing?
I think the Night Owl out of the box is about $500, depending on the type of cameras, and I used the turrets as a pricing comparison. With an 8-port NVR and 8 Turing cameras, we're talking about $3,500.
How many cameras do you get with the Night Owl?
You get 8, so that's why the comparison was 8 to 8.
So who's installing the cameras? Are we going DIY or are we using licensed professionals?
If you do DIY, you're usually using somebody who doesn't know the ins and outs of camera systems very well, but might have some general knowledge. If you're using a licensed professional, they do this for a living, they know everything from A to Z on your camera system.
What's the difference with the cabling for both of these systems?
Well, if you're looking at the Night Owl system, or we call them off-the-shelf systems, you're talking about usually Wi-Fi enabled cameras, which the only portion of it is cabled would be the 110 volt that they need to power the camera. If you're looking at the Turing system, everything is Cat 6, which means Ethernet cabling throughout the building that powers and gives it the network connection to the NVR. All right, let's take the Turing for example. I'm just gonna unplug it, and as you can see, it's a RJ45 is what we call it. Okay. It's a network plug-in. This is not used, this is used for external power, which in most cases you don't need because you're getting power through the PoE connection. All it really is just a plug and play. On the other side, you have the Night Owl, which is a standard 110 to DC converter, plug in and plug out. The only thing I don't like about this is there's nothing weatherproof. On these, you can actually put a weatherproof grommet, which keeps it out of water intrusion and stuff like that.
Talk to me about power. How does each of these cameras get their power?
Well, like I said, the Turing does get PoE power through the cable itself, which is Cat 6. On the other hand, since these Night Owl cameras are Wi-Fi, they talk to the NVR via wireless signal. They need 110 power to plugged in nearby. Now nearby, it looks like this cord might be 5 feet long. So within 5 feet, it has to have a power outlet.
As far as the installation quality itself, what's the difference between the two systems?
Really, it comes down to what are you paying for? Are you paying somebody just to put a camera on the wall and plug it into an outlet? Or are you having a certified professional install the system? When you're talking about a certified installation, you might be talking about a electrical closet or somewhere in the building where all the wires are ran to. It's neat, it's professional, it's in a rack, and everything's kind of easy to get to.
Can you tell me about the mounting options for each of the cameras?
Well, if you're looking at the Night Owl system, as you can see, there really isn't much other than a lockable twist and tight mount. You're talking anchors or screws to a wall or a hard ceiling might it be. There's many different options when it comes to Turing cameras, and the big thing is not seeing any cables outside of it. Everything's inside, the camera goes on top, and you're not gonna see any of the cabling coming out of it. This is an example of the turret. This would be an example of a bullet. So this camera mounts to here. This goes on the wall or ceiling, depending on where you're putting it. Everything's hidden inside, all the connections are weatherproof, and then that's it.
So let's move on to build quality. Can you give me a comparison of the weight and the build of each of these cameras?
Yeah, sure. Let's take a look at the Night Owl. As you can see, plastic base. I don't see any metal on it. It's fairly lightweight. If we in turn look at the Turing, metal base, there is some plastic in it, but it's considerably heavier than the Night Owl camera. And that's kind of across the board. Even if we look at this one, there's definitely some weight to it. You can see that there's security screws that hold all the moving parts and pieces together. And of course, once you get it mounted to a mounting junction box, there's no movement in the camera. Never seen a camera fall off.
And I can see if you're a DIYer, you'll be using like the screws that come in the box with this one.
Correct.
Those you can probably use heavy duty.
It really depends on what you're anchoring to, whether it be concrete, brick, wood, or drywall sometimes. As a professional, you have a bag of tricks, which is mounting hardware to certain kind of substructures.
I do want to talk about the night vision on these cameras. Is the image grainy, or can you actually identify features of a person walking by?
So low light, which we can't see right now because of the ambient light, is infrared, or IR is what they call it, which will automatically turn on in low light circumstances. The usual is usually about 50 feet. Turing offers different cameras that can go up to 150 feet. So it really depends on what you're trying to grab. But in a default situation, both cameras will show you the presence of a person or being walking in that low light situation.
What about the image quality itself? Can you identify a person or a license plate with each of these cameras?
That's really questionable. It's really site specific. The big thing when people start talking about license plates, it's really difficult to get a license plate unless the camera is very close to that vehicle. The difference with Turing is they make specific cameras that are LPR or specifically there to grab license plates. You're pretty much gonna get what you're gonna get out of the box. No LPR, no facial. You might get a facial if it's really close, but it's so situational, it's hard to say. Every scene can be different.
So one feature some people would like is the ability to pan, tilt, and zoom. Does the Night Owl system have a PTZ camera?
No, these are all standard cameras that do not have PTZ. The biggest difference between the off-the-shelf and the Turing system is the customizable features that we can get with different models of cameras. So if a customer wanted a PTZ camera for a certain situation, we would have to quote a certain type of camera. On the Turing side, I can do that. On the Night Owl, you get what you get off the shelf. One of the most important things people forget to check is where that video actually goes. We're looking at data privacy and storage security. A lot of retail cameras rely on simple SD cards that can be stolen right out of the camera, or they send your data to unencrypted servers. We want to see how easy it is to keep your footage safe from both physical theft and digital hackers.
As far as storage, can you show me how easy it is to steal the memory card out of these cameras?
So the Night Owl has an option for SD card. There is no SD card in there out of the box. So it is recording to the NVR via Wi-Fi. So at least in this situation, all you'd have to do if there was an SD card is press it, pull it out, and take it out. Turing system, unless you can get to the NVR, you can't get the recordings.
So there's no onboard storage on each of the Turing cameras?
It can be added for backup, but out of the box, there is no SD card installed.
So how do you get to it?
So it really just depends on the system, but these two systems do have cell phone and web apps.
The apps themselves, do they have a lot of ads, or do they require a subscription?
No, either one of these do not need subscription and or ads on those apps.
Finally, we have to consider long-term support. Technology breaks eventually, and you need to know what happens when it does. If your retail camera stops working, you're usually on your own or stuck in a generic support queue. With a professional partner, you have a team to call who can actually troubleshoot the system for you. So the Night Owl does have a 1-year limited manufacturer warranty that covers defects and material workmanship. But what about support? How is support with the Turing system?
So if we install the Turing system, it would be a phone call or a technical site visit. It really depends on what you're looking for, but a 3-year warranty on all the equipment. Support is first level by HRCT. If it's something that HRCT cannot fix or repair, it does go to Turing directly.
The Night Owl security system support is a website. No phone number, no email address, just the website, and you can put in a ticket through the website. So we've talked about the warranty, we've talked about support. How easy is it to update the firmware on your own?
From a HRCT standpoint, we have a Turing portal that we can upload direct firmware or any updates to the cameras and the NVRs ourselves. The customer really doesn't have to do it. There's no charge to the customer. It's basically a partner portal that HRCT uses. On the Night Owl, everything has to be done from the NVR. So you have to log into the NVR, look for firmware updates, and then post those firmware updates.
Thinking about the set it and forget it aspect, which one would you trust to stay running for the next 5 years?
I would say both systems will run for the next 5 years. It really comes down to how customizable does that customer need that system to be.
At the end of the day, you have to decide if you're buying a camera just to say you have one, or if you're buying a system to actually protect your assets. How do you feel about each of these systems?
It really comes down to budget and what you're looking for. I keep using the same word as customizable. If you're looking for something quick, easy, and something to do yourself, I think the Night Owl is perfect for you. Now, it might not do everything you want it to, but of course, the cost might offset that. If you're looking at Turing, of course, it's more expensive, but you're getting a different level of satisfaction with that system. Ease of installation, you kind of want a professional like HRC to install it for you. We've been doing it for over 20 years. It's something that we do every day, and it's a very good system.
As always, if you like the video, please like and follow down below, and we'll see you next time.